Thank you all for joining today. Today we are going to be learning about the ethical considerations when it comes to instructional design and the worldview of these things as well. Here at Liberty University, it's really important for us to consider biblical worldviews and Christianity when it comes to the things that we are teaching and the things that we are learning. So let's just dive right into it. In the world of instructional design, there are many different considerations that we have to take into thought when we are doing these things. The first one is going to be copywriting. Copyright infringement is a major ethical concern that has to be addressed as instructional designers. There are so many photos, music selections, videos, and other multimedia that are available online. And as an instructional designer, I know there's so many times where I just want to go online and grab the cutest thing and, use it in my work. But unfortunately, as an educator and an instructional designer, we must make sure that we're obtaining these in the proper channels with permission to use these materials and the consent. Unfortunately, failure to do so could really lead to legal consequences for yourself, your company, and professional embarrassment. It's just very unprofessional. So some of the methods that you could do to make sure that you're not copywriting is to go make yourself familiar with copywriting laws and always get permission, even if you think you don't need it, even if it's copyright free. The Bible, Jeremiah 23:30 does say, "Therefore, behold, I am against the prophets, saith the Lord, that steal my words, everyone from his neighbor." So, Jeremiah does say in the Bible that if you're stealing words from your neighbor, it is a sin against God. And therefore, it's really important for you to take that into account as a Christian as well. Another pillar of ethical considerations in the ID world is going to be the digital divide, which is a major ethical concern that is near and dear to me as a double minority, as a Black and as a woman. Inequality is rampant in this world, and it does bleed into the educational arena as well, which was an issue with COVID that we saw. What about the kids who do not have access, that do not have strong Wi-Fi, that do not have parents that are available to help them with the technological tools for success, right? So it's not easy for people to engage with multimedia content that allows them to complete their work efficiently. And this can heighten existing injustices and inequalities that are already taking place. As an educator, you have to consider the accessibilities of the materials that you are requiring your students to use. Is this accessible to all? Do all my students have high-speed internet, the best computers? Is this appropriate? Do they have the necessary resources to do what I'm asking them to do? Or am I setting some of them up for failure, right? These are things that you have to think about as an instructional designer. Proverbs 22:2 says, "The rich and the poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all." So as a Christian educator, you have to make sure that you are meeting the rich and the poor to meet together in everything that you do. Privacy. The issue of privacy is significant, and it is really important for you to make sure that you are creating a safe space for your students as they're using learning management systems, video chatting. You want to keep your students away from internet perverts, people who want to steal their information, and other things that make them very vulnerable to harm. Even yourself, their data. As an educator, you have to become aware of their privacy laws and become very aware of the FERPA law, which is Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Are you adhering legally to the rights of your students? These are things that we need to make sure that we're doing. Luke 12, 2-3 says, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hide that shall not be known. Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in the darkness shall be heard in the light." So even if you are not adhering to your students' privacy laws and you're trying to take the easy way out, it will come out into the light, and it's not good. Foremost and finally, bias. As an instructional designer, there's going to be times where sometimes our content can be presented and reflect the bias of us as content creators, us as instructional leaders. We can be sunken and fooled into perpetuating stereotypes and continuing misinformation. Our jobs as educators, and especially as teachers, is to inform, direct, and instruct. And if you're using your job as an intellectual leader as a way to perpetuate implicit bias, it's really awful, and it's a disservice to yourself, to the Lord, and to your students. So it is very important for you to look at yourself constantly and hold yourself accountable for your thoughts and the way that you are teaching as well. Matthew 7, 1-3 says, "Refuse to be a critic full of bias towards others, and you will not be judged. For you'll be judged by the same standard that you used to judge others. The measurement you use on them will be used on you. Therefore," this is another version of what does that Bible say? Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Thank you. So in today's lesson, we did reference the text that was provided by our professor. We did reference what do you teach them when we teach ethics, which went over a lot of the ethical methods of teaching and engaging teachers to co-design integrated AI curriculum, which gave a lot of advice as well. So I want to thank you all so much for being a part of this lesson with me and engaging. And I hope that this did leave you enlightened and excited. Thank you very much.